All right, everybody, thank you so much for registering for this webinar with Lemon Seed Marketing and Good Leap. I am Crystal Williams. I cannot wait for this. It is one of the most not fun things to talk about. That is the most fun thing for marketers to talk about. But we are talking today with Erica Leonore from Good Leap about turning objections into opportunities, marketing financing to drive conversions in the home for your sales team. But we're really going to focus on how we can help the homeowner understand financing options to in turn sell more equipment. So, like I said earlier, I'm Crystal Williams, the founder and lead strategist for Lemon Seed Marketing. We're based out of Texas. We're a full service marketing company that really is focused on helping you build brand and be creative in all of your marketing strategies. And with me is someone that is so special to me, one of my absolute favorite people, Erica Leonore. She is the Director of Business Development from Good Leap. How are you, Erica?
Oh, Crystal, you always make me smile, and I'm so happy. And, I love I've known you for many years and just seeing you shine and all of the great things that you're doing. And I just got to say, Lemon Seed Marketing is one of the most inspiring companies. I go to Lemon Seed for inspiration when I'm like, what are some creative ideas? Or, you're going to an event or a trade show, and it's like Lemon Seed has kind of set this tone of what to achieve. And so you guys just always do such a phenomenal job there. And if somebody here is listening and not working with Lemon Seed, you've got to talk to Crystal. They're the best.
Well, I don't even have to pay you to say any of that.
No, you don't. I will say that all day long, because I really believe in what you guys are doing and how you give back so generously to this.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, and same for you. Not that this is a total girl crush moment, but Erica has a very inspiring story. Cancer survivor, rocking it as a mom and wife, doing all kinds of cool CSR coaching. But really, your main job here is Good Leap and what you do for them. Good Leap has been such a great partner with Lemon Seed. And so I just owe you so much. You're such a rock star. Thank you so much for being on here today. So, well, I know you and I love to sit and talk marketing all the time. I know that financing is always something that really intrigues my contractors that I'm working with. A lot of times they're partnered with someone, but they just don't know how to market it. And so as we're going right here into the big summer months for my HVAC contractors, now is the best time to hone in on how you can help the homeowner understand the impact of offering of financing options. And so today I thought we would just talk about how financing can really be a marketing advantage and using it to close more deals.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I just look at myself with I want to buy the best for what I can afford. I absolutely want the best if I can afford it. And so being able to have some options of affordability of what I personally like to have for my home and my comfort and my health and all of those things, if there's a way to get it, I want to get it. So that's just me personally, for sure.
Well, and listen, I know there's some older generation that's rolling around these kids and wanting to finance, but listen, it's just a different world right now. A lot of things are wrapped up in these payment factors. And when I was with McWilliams and we worked a lot with financing options, we were the first ones in our market that even offered a monthly payment structure when we were presenting equipment options in the home. And we presented with payment factor first, because it just made it so much more digestible for the average homeowner. I joke about this all the time. Used to, if you were to call anybody that you knew, remember, we live in this life, right? We see equipment prices, we know that life. But if you were to go to any homeowner and say, hey, how much do you think it's going to be to replace your water heater? They're going to guess, and it's going to be way off.
Yeah.
Same thing with the heating and air conditioning. I mean, $5,000 or $6,000, and y'all are like, oh, excuse me, absolutely not. Because listen, Lemon Seed's gonna jump your bones if your average ticket is $6,000. You're not doing something right? And I don't care what area of the country you're in. So don't tell me you're in the South. I'm born in the South. I understand that, but it is definitely a low average ticket there. So let's really talk today about how we can be effective with this. So I really think that we have to treat our financing as a part of our marketing strategy, not just a sales tool. So it's the combination of those two. So how have you seen sales team members at contractors really utilize financing, I should say? How have they utilized that to close more deals or build homeowner trust?
Yeah, it's one of those things where once again, you want to like grow your business. Like we're in a business, but then homeowners are also, like you just said, they have that sticker shock. And so a lot of times, I mean, we see this all the time. People get nervous to talk about money all the time. Like, you know, CSR is just even talking about a dispatch fee, right? Your diagnostic charge or something. Like they're like, oh, do I have to say it? Like people get nervous to talk about money. And so I like to think about it as, you know, if there's a way that people can afford your equipment, your water heater, you know, whatever it is, like make it a part of your company culture. Like, hey, we can sell the best equipment and all of these things and the best value, the best customer experience. Like we can offer these things. And in order to offer the best, like we got to own our price as a contractor. And that's totally fine. And then you have this mindset of, hey, maybe as a CSR, maybe I can absolutely just plant the seed and say, hey, we have low monthly payment options. We work with a great lender that they can provide some loans for you. You know what I mean? Like there's different ways that you can do it from the phone. And it's just this mindset. Like you've got to talk about it in your team meetings that this is your company.
Well, and I call this price conditioning, right? So even heck, I do the sales for Lemon Seed. And when I get ready sometimes to talk about the actual monthly pricing and things like that, not even that you're expensive. It's just that you're about to talk money. So when money comes into play, just like you mentioned, like people start getting very antsy and nervous because like, how am I going to tell this guy that I can't afford this? What am I going to do? You know, and all of the worries and thoughts come into your mind. And even people that are affluent and have more expendable income, they are disposable income, I should say. They too are still like right now very worried about where that money's going. And so price conditioning is very important. When it comes to getting people used to what your pricing structure is going to feel like and be like. And the more confident you can communicate pricing through your sales process or through your dispatch and call centers, the more effectively and confidently that you can do that, the better off the homeowner is going to receive it. It doesn't mean they're going to like it, but at least it comes across as like you're not ashamed of it. So if you're like, hey, I'm so sorry, like this is going to cost you like $25,000. That's terrible. I mean, you're already telling the homeowner like, this is awful. Look at my face. Have a problem.
Fortunately, this is what it is. And you're like, and it's just, companies are priced the way that they're priced. Like Lululemons are priced the way they're priced for whatever reason. And we still buy them. You know what I mean? Like things are priced how they are because that's like, and then we get to choose to move forward with it or not. Yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It can just become part of a mindset and a strategy as a company that, hey, this is what we do and this is our price and it's okay. And there's different ways for people to afford us.
Absolutely. Well, and the next thing that I'm going to tell everybody, like I'm really on this kick right now, Erica, of providing contractors with true things they could go do, like some true takeaways. I love theory, but the practicality has my heart. So here's where things can get a little tricky for a contractor, right? So, I tell everybody you need to put your financing, at least the idea that you offer financing, it needs to be a lot more front and center of your messaging, especially on the replacement side of your business, whether we're talking whole home plumbing, water heater, like going to a tankless water heater. I lost my words there. Tankless water heater or a complete new HVAC system with ductwork and IAQ and all of those things. I'm always like, let's put it everywhere we can. But when you put financing up, it can get a little wonky. So you'd really want to make sure that you're following all of your vendor, hopefully Good Leap, when you would want to follow all of their parameters to make sure that what you're advertising is true and clean, as I say. It has all of the exclusions just to protect yourself. So I don't want contractors to run from saying that they offer financing and getting out there. But most of you, especially Good Leap, you guys provide great direction on how they can actually promote their offers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where, I've seen homeowners get confused that maybe the contractor is the one that's offering the financing, right? That this financing is through this business when really it's through a lender. And so you do want to be very clear about that. When you get your landing page up and say, hey, we have financing options. It's easy to apply. There's definite simple but good language that you can put on there for people to know what they're applying for. Is this a soft credit pull? Those types of things people are going to want to know. because ultimately this is your customer, this is your homeowner. You want to give a great customer experience to them. If I'm in that position as a homeowner, like I would want to know before I go and click and apply for financing what I'm getting myself into. So definitely having it designed and it's very clear is going to just be the best thing for you.
Well, and you also, like, listen, I hate to break it to the contractor, but you and your sales team, like, it is up to you guys to educate yourself on what you can say. Like, you cannot tell me that there is not resources out the wazoo for the financing companies. So I know that Goodleap has resources for their team and their contractors to utilize. And so I think it's more about just making sure your message is crisp and clear, but also leaves you enough room, because not everyone's going to qualify. Not everything that they buy is going to qualify. So I don't want you to be afraid of marketing it, but you just need to do it correctly. And so, but even incorporating financing into branded promotions, Lemon Seeds, one of our thing is always look for a differentiator in the market.
Yeah.
So we should always be looking for something. So working with your finance company to figure out, like, what promotion could you work together to offer that is a differentiator in your market. And, figuring out what that looks like to work together, but incorporating it into your seasonal campaigns. So, for example, right now, if you're able to work out something for financing, it's a great time to say, keep money in your pocket this summer, right? For those summer vacations, or you have a kid graduating, things like that. So you can use those offers and marry it with language that fits what people are actually going through as a homeowner during that time. So Q4, the last quarter of the year, what are we all going through? The holidays.
Yep.
Right? Where everybody's trying to buy food for Thanksgiving and Christmas gifts or whatever's impacting them. And listen, it's expensive to be a Hallmark family where you're trying to go to all the Christmas lights and snow skiing and all that drama.
Oh, yes.
So,
it is.
Your marketing campaign needs to save people one of two things: money or time. So when you can figure out how your messaging is saving people money or time, and right now specifically on money, it's a really impactful tool because it speaks directly to the homeowner. And really, the homeowners who we need to be focused on here. Yeah. Building their trust and building their understanding of how this would work.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's this thing too, where sometimes, like we absolutely want to be able to provide low payment options for big system replacements and water heaters. But, sometimes because you have holidays and you have summer vacations and you have the Hallmark stuff come up, sometimes people aren't always going to move forward with a full replacement of something, and they're going to need repairs. But repairs can often sometimes be a sticker shock as well. And so you definitely want to make sure that when you provide low monthly payment options, that it can be well-rounded. It can be for repairs, it can be for replacements, and just providing it as options for your customers, for your homeowners.
Yeah. I mean, again, guys, this is all about helping your homeowners feel a lot more confident in that mindset that Erica mentioned earlier. Manageable things, manageable payments, just overall, like this large investment that they need to make in their home. How do they accomplish it? So also, like, I think right now, like, you can really eliminate the pricing objection before they happen, right? Especially contractors that I work with, because I hardly work with the guys that like to be the low man on the totem pole.
Right.
I don't have a lot of contractors that are like, let me go out here and sell a system for $6,000. So you're more expensive, but you also know your work is well above par. Their experience with you will be above par. Your brand is above par. So odds are you're going to get a pricing objection. So you need to be prepared. And a lot of that is just really being confident.
Yeah, absolutely. And when people are looking for home improvement upgrades or replacements, or, I don't know a lot of people that are just like, hey, I want to invest and everything's working great, but I want to get even better stuff. Like most of the time people are going in to fix something that's broken or replace something that's really old. But you do have people that are like, hey, I want cleaner air, or I want cleaner water, or different things like that. And, if you're going to do your marketing to, potentially attract people to duct cleaning or things like that people don't normally think about, because it's not necessarily broken. But in your marketing, like, you want to be able to attract people to those specific services and products that you have. And so once again, making everything affordable for these home improvement upgrades and solutions. That's what we're doing.
Well, and I love this. I say this quite often. No one wakes up and goes, you know what I'm going to do today? Buy a new heating and air conditioning system.
Right.
They're for sure not excited. Like, there's like countdowns to when people are going to go on their next vacation and cruises. No one is counting down till they have to buy a new roof or a new HVAC system, a new water filtration. Again, to Erica's point here, which was a great point, people are not super pumped to do this. And so now it's like adding insult to injury, right? You're like, oh, I had to do it. Now it's expensive. Just really promoting these financing options early, even early in the marketing. So in the customer journey, letting them see that you offer it in your sales journey, working internally with your team about the journey of sales. And so that sticker shot doesn't just knock them off the couch, right? You're price conditioning, you're preparing them for that. And then making sure that you have some, I call it leave behind, or something that people in the home can like touch and feel. We're really getting conditioned now to doubt everything, right? So this is too good to be true, or they're lying to you, right? So we've been conditioned to think that sales guys are creepy and they're trying to trick us and get over
rip us off and
rip us off. Great comment there.
Well, yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things, like if you are bringing it up early and often that you provide these payment options, you don't have to wait till you get the pushback to like, okay, now this is going to save the deal. It's like, no, like bring it into that conversation early often. And Crystal, I love the idea of having something to leave behind with that you can touch and that you can feel, that, it does legitimize what you're doing. And like, even just something simple, like I remember this company we were working with one time that every time they did a new install, they actually had like a big red ribbon bow that they would tie on it, so that when they went to go show the customer, like, hey, look at this new install, there was a big red bow on it, and it just looked like Christmas. You know what I mean? And
I love that.
It's just those little touch points. Like there's so much in this experience that maybe you can't control. You can't control homeowners' experiences with previous companies or
their credit score.
Like there's so many things you can't control, but what can you control? You can control how you communicate. You can control how you market. You can control how you show up. You can control those touch points with the big red bow. Those types of things. Like I can control how often I text or I reach out to the customer. If you can do those types of things really well, you're in great shape.
Absolutely. And listen, this is all about the customer journey. Lemon Seed's focus is always on, like, when you work with Lemon Seed, we don't have affiliations with certain vendors. We work with good people in general. So if your vendor's a good person, we're going to, a good company, we're going to work with them. And I know that's all relative, but my point here is because overall Lemon Seed's focus is on your customer's journey with your company, how they experience your brand, both externally, so signage and van wraps and social media and community involvement. And then how do we actually ask for the business in paid ads and websites and all of that, direct mail, and then how do we keep them once we have them? And so financing is also a great thing to dig into with your existing database. Emailing out pre-approval links and things like that are like, hey, we noticed you didn't make this large repair. You weren't able to get the system then. Don't forget we offer great flexible payment options. Click here. We have budget-friendly upgrades, like click here, right? So again, this is just how you can elevate the customer's experience with your company that appeals to the homeowner. That's how we get their attention, is we solve a problem that they have. And financing is the epitome of most of the time, a lot of people's issues that they might be running into.
Yeah. People, we're always going to be concerned about the price, about everything that we buy. Like, oh, is this really going to be worth it for me to buy these shoes? Is it going to be worth it for me to get this cool feature in the car? Like everything, it is a price, unless we're just like rolling in it. We don't have to think about it. But most people, they will always think about it. And so, just doing a really good job with everything you just said, like your brand from beginning through the journey to the end, like that you are a great company to work with all around. As a contractor, you're trustworthy, you offer great value, good service, good quality, the workmanship, all of those things. And for all of that, you can be affordable.
Yes. And I say this all the time, you are able to reiterate to homeowners like, hey, one of our core values over here at Crystal's Heating and Air is that we are honest and we are trustworthy. And so, one of the things I'll tell you is when we work with our vendors, homeowner, it is safe, it is secure. It's backed by top providers. Again, reiterate who you are as a company. Use financing to do it. It is a win-win situation.
Because, Crystal, it's so interesting. Like, we can't just assume that customers know this about us. And This is one thing I say quite often when I'm meeting with different people is like, yeah, you have a great website, you have great reviews. And yeah, sure, people go on there and they'll read them, but don't assume that they've read all the language and they've read all of the verbiage. Like, we have to do a lot better job at communicating our value, at being open to say, hey, you know what? Here at Crystal's Heating and Air Conditioning, we want to work with you. We want to have a 5-star experience with you. We want you to experience the best. Like, I need to actually say those types of words for people to understand that that is our brand. It's not just something that's on our website. And so, I just think that's one of the things that's very powerful. Don't just assume people know that you're going to offer it because it's on your website for financing, right? Like, be proactive in talking to people about who you are as a company.
Well, and even those of you that are like really interested in it, like one of the ploys that you might could do this summer is with your CSR team, just say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your system is down. Is financing something that you're going to want to consider if you are in the need of a new system? Like, there's some ways that you could really finesse that introduction that set the tone, price conditioning. And again, listen, I this, Erica knows this because she's been in the industry a long time too. Listen, marketing and financing will not be the reason that your company is successful. Operations are where companies move needles. Operations are where people build generational wealth. We just get to be a part of that, right? As finance, people that offer financing and people that offer marketing strategy and branding we're just a part of your story. You have to control what happens in your business. And so if you need to make sure that you are educated on how you're going to offer this financing and how it's going to be attached to your brand and how do you implement it. And then how do you investigate what you ask people to be doing. And again, building your brand and really showing all of this, the importance of the customer journey to you as the owner. And so you're right. Like, people don't know you, man. One of the biggest tricks that I think contractors fall for is thinking they are way more important than they actually are in their own market. Yeah. And I say that because, and this, people tell me all the time, well, ain't no way I could change my name. I mean, my name, Crystal, I probably have 80% market share. So I'm like, let's go take a look. And then I'm like, sir, you have 2% market share.
Yeah.
And they're like, ain't no way. Everybody knows me. And I'm like, no, everybody in your circle knows you. You're not out in these other circles, right? You're not out where, dealing with people that you never deal with. So everybody that you deal with, yes, they know you. Why do you think most multi-level marketing things don't work? You know why? Because people run out of friends and family, right? They run out of selling those things and they have to learn how to market. And so it's the same thing here. Like, many of you might be like, I've never had to offer financing before. And, I'm like, well, you're missing a whole category of people. Yeah. You're missing a whole differentiator here.
The category of people, Crystal, is no matter what your FICO score is, like, people are financing. Like, I can have an 850 credit score and I'm still going to finance, an HVAC replacement. Like, people don't just assume that it's like one group of people, like, oh, everybody that just, lives paycheck to paycheck needs to take out a loan for this. That's not true at all. Everybody takes advantage of low monthly payments. Everybody.
Yep. Well, even people that have cash, like you're saying, a lot of people that have cash. So, I work in an area where my family's heating and air conditioning company, we'd be financing 75% of our jobs at a high average ticket, and not from overselling, from just doing payment first. And people that had the cash, it was just lucrative enough where they were like, I'll hold on to my cash and pay this, Yeah. And so it's definitely that. Well, Erica, I want to take a minute and tell me a little bit. I want you to brag just a little bit on what makes Good Leap special. So if I'm a contractor, like, what can I know that I'm going to get as far as support from Good Leap? So I'm just curious, like, what are some of the things that Good Leap prioritizes in their relationship with their contractors?
Yeah, I love this question. I'm going to bring in a little bit of personal experience to this one too, of why Good Leap is just a stellar company for me personally. You know, you mentioned at the beginning, like a little bit of my journey about the cancer survivor stuff. Like this is something that I just barely recently went through. And, you know, I hadn't been at Good Leap for super long before I got a diagnosis. And I had so much confidence and trust because of what the people at Good Leap did, even before I was hired. You know, the people that brought me into Good Leap, before I even started working, I had just had a baby, and they would call me every month and check in on me and just make sure I was doing okay before I even started working there. And then once I did start working there, you know, the time and investment that they made to help me learn the system, you know, of all the financing and how things work. And then I got cancer, and then I just had this amazing supportive team from all over the country jump in and help whatever I needed. Like, so from that kind of a standpoint, like the people at Good Leap, they're just A+ players. You know what I mean? Like we just care about each other. We care about the people that we work with, the support that we can provide contractors and help you offer financing options to your homeowners, ultimately to the homeowner to have a lender that they can trust to use these home improvements. So that right then and there is like, for me, so powerful. It's just like good people that want to support and want to work with you. And
well, heck, we all can take a page out of that book, right? So your company culture in general, how they treat their employees tells you a lot about how they'll treat their contractors, right? So knowing that Good Leap treated you so well, which I had known that because during your cancer journey, I was at a show with one of your counterparts. And when I said, how's Erica doing? He was like, man, he said, she's killing it. She is a rock star. And like, I mean, it was their passion for you and all that really spoke well. But as contractors, we need to hear that. We need to understand like the importance of how we treat our employees and how we build company culture definitely iterates down into other portions. So our customers feel how our team members feel. They can read it. They can read the room. You know, I was kind of joking the other day. One of my friends sent someone from her family's company to do some work for my sister. And when the girl got there, we were like, oh no, this is supposed to have a different piece on the back. And the lady goes, sorry, everybody at my office sets me up for failure. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I called my friend. I was like, she's like, why would she say that to customers? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I would punch them in the throat. That's what I'd want to do. but she made up, my friend was telling me, she's like, the bad thing is like, we are super supportive. We have all these checks and balances. So sometimes you can't protect everything, but knowing that these stories like this, like that Good Leap treats their people like this, lets you know how they'll take care of the contractor.
Absolutely. You know, and I value so much, like, I like to be proactive and make sure that I'm helping and supporting, you know, all the different contractors and whatever they need throughout the country. But, you know, it's one of those things, like, I love it when contractors also reach out to me and they're like, hey, Erica, I have a question. Like, I'm not the lender. Like, I'm not the financing expert. You know, I'm HVAC or I'm roofing, you know, and that's totally fine. Like, Good Leap, that's what we do all day long. And when people reach out and they ask for help, or like, hey, I have a homeowner, we have a question, you know, we're able to point people in the right direction. And that's what I appreciate too, is like the people I work with, they're not scared to reach out to ask for help and ask questions and make sure they contact Good Leap. And, you know, I've heard stories too where, you know, they're like, oh, I can't get a hold of anybody at, you know, whoever they're working with. Doesn't matter if it's financing or whatever vendor they're working with. Like, I can never get a hold of an account rep or anything like that. And it's like, well, you got a hold of me. How can I help? You know, and that's what we want to provide for everybody across the board.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that. So I definitely think that Good Leap is a great partner. Well, so I'll tell you a little bit about how Lemon Seed can help you. So one thing that Lemon Seed can really help contractors do is organize a strategy to use their marketing dollars that builds their brand. So if you're tired of living on the hamster wheel of paid ads where you're just out there like in a boxing ring of death, just punching it out to the end, you know, we're here to help contractors build out a strategy that grows their company, grows their legacy, and is brand forward and builds solid plans and a consistent lead flow. And so we partner you with the right vendors like Good Leap to help you accomplish a lot of your goals. And so I think together the Lemon Seed Good Leap agreement here is a great piece where contractors, when you have both going on, it really does open the door some great experiences for your customers and homeowners, and just some cool stuff that you can do to, differentiate yourself in the market there. So, well, Erica, any final words or pieces of advice that you would like to give the contractors that are listening about financing?
Oh, I want to say a little piece here. Like, I love it when, a contractor's like, hey, I'm ready to move forward and work with Good Leap as a lender. And I look them up on their website, and I've seen the work that Lemon Seed does. And I'm like, hey, who's helping you with your brand? They're like, Lemon Seed Marketing. And I was like, I knew it. Like, I've been able to like just really connect with people. I'm like, I absolutely love them. What's your experience? And they're always like, oh my gosh, look at how pretty this is. And they're like, it was hard to like completely rebrand, but we did it. And it's like flashy and it's exciting. And, but what you're saying about, strategy for your marketing and for growing your business and operations and, financing that little piece of your business growth, like, yeah, like, there's things in business that not everything is always perfect with, operations and everything like, but when you have the right people that you can count on to provide support and help you grow, like, this is what Lemon Seed and this is what Good Leap wants to do.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We love our contractors just like you guys. And so, guys, thank you so much for watching our webinar. We like to keep it short and sweet and to the point about how you can really avoid that sticker shock, how you can market your financing, build your brand, and provide a great support for homeowners in your market. Thank you, Erica from Good Leap. Erica, how would you like for people to get a hold of you if they have questions?
Yes. So you are more than welcome to find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. It's just Erica Leonor. You can contact me on my email, which is my first initial eleanor@goodleap.com. It looks like Eleanor, but it's, Leonor. You can reach out to me and I will be more than happy to talk to you about all the things.
Perfect. Or feel free to email us at hello@lemonseedmarketing.com saying I want more information, or just email us any way you need to at Lemon Seed, and we will definitely help you get connected. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you later.
Thank you.